Hey YouTube, I'm live. It look like it's meant to be, yeah. I'm live on Instagram and I'm live on TikTok. My laptop just miraculously went live, so it's definitely meant to be today. And I'm sharing a really exciting topic. I'm going to tell you a little bit about me just quickly because it's not about me, it's about the message. Thanks, Nat. These mogs, these leaders, they'll be like, it's not about me, it's about Jesus. And then they go on a narcissistic rant for about half an hour about all their achievements and what they've done and like Christianity, and these guys are funny, man. They're your textbook narcissists. Do you know what I mean? Like your textbook narcissist. So anyway, oh guys, let me get it all figured out because I'm on live on 3 different. All right, this is perfect. I can relax. So my name's Leah Lauder. I was in a church cult for 18 years and I came to the realization during the pandemic that I was in fact in a cult and not a church. And now I come online and I speak about my experiences. A few things that you should know about me. I got engaged to a man in under 2 months. That just slid into my DMs because the cult, morning Queen Paris, the cult just go on and on about like marriages, and they make you feel like you're going to go to HELR if you're not married because you're fornicating. It's just a lot of pressure. So it was like that environment that made me marry a man I didn't know. Do you get it? So what else do you need to know? I got married in under a year. A lot of people get married really quickly. Hey, who's that? Who's she wins? They get really married and really married quickly in there and really young as well, because they just want women to marry when they're young, DUMB and naive. All right. So I've been talking a lot about narcissism and I was thinking, what can I speak about today? I was trying to find my presentation on attachment. That's normal in a certain culture in the world that starts with an A and ends in an A. Chair. I've been looking at attachment, and I don't know if people really know about different attachment styles because learning this when I was doing my social work masters absolutely changed my life. So this is going to be a little bit of a deprogramming session where I'm going to kind of give you a fast track speed course into the attachment styles. Then I'm going to talk about I don't know why I can't say this word ever. Developmental stages that we go through, and then I'm going to be talking about my kind of my hypotheses, if you like, on the spiritual conversion of that within these church cult settings. Hey, Christ First, and this will all be in my book. And over the coming months, I'm going to be giving you a taster of what's going to be in my book. It will obviously be going into depth a lot more. There'll be a lot more expansion on the topics, case studies, personal experiences, etc., which will be coming out in January. So I'm just going to be, and I'm helping to shape and frame my book through these little lab sessions that I've been doing with the collective. Hey, Christ First. So it's amazing what God is doing. Don't worry, trolls. You've got a front seat to see exactly what's going to be happening with this. So it's wonderful. You know, when God does it, God likes to do things in a certain way. All right. So let's start with oh God, this is going to be so difficult, chair, because this is really high level stuff that I'm going to be breaking down, guys. So bear with me, okay? So we're going to look at the different stages, the different developmental stages first, and then I'm going to break down what happens to us when we get indoctrinated. I just want to say, I'm not going to be going into the rewiring of the brain and what happens to the different function of the brain, just because I haven't done any studying for this session. So I'll just be looking at it from a social science lens, using the work of Piaget and different theorists that have contributed to child development and attachment theory. Okay. All right. So I'm going to give you a breakdown of the different developmental stages that we go through according to Piaget. And this is the main theorist that we use for assessment and any type of work that you do, like within, working with children. Yeah. So the first stage is the sensorimeter stage, which is birth to 2 years old. And this is where infants learn through their senses and actions, developing object performance, understanding that objects still exist even when they can't be seen, and basic language. So this is like the first stages of the developmental stage. Then we go into the pre-operational stage, which is 2 to 7 years old. And this is where children develop symbolic thinking. So it's allowing them to do up, like pretend play. And this is where we get like the social learning when they start to go into like, early years and nursery. And we start to, that's when we'll start to notice if a child's being neglected or ABUSED'd through, like their behavior, their development. It will either be linked to, like a disability or something that's maybe autoimmune or neurological, or we'll look at the trauma, we'll look at ABUSE, and we're really looking at these different stages, to assess the child's development. Now, I want to say here, we could argue that a theory like Piaget's wouldn't work or wouldn't be as fair. It would give maybe a bias or a disproportionate lens of the development of children, for example, in, say, like the Amazonian jungle. They might not have ever, like, they might not learn language like that or learn to develop in a certain way, but they could maybe build a house. Do you know what I'm saying? At 5. So I just wanted to like put that in there because it doesn't really consider the different cultural elements and aspects of it. So I just wanted to put that in. All right. However, at this stage, at the pre-operational stage, they will struggle with logical reasoning and understanding other people's perspectives. So egocentrism. Guys, this is high level stuff I'm discussing today, man. And this is, I suppose this is why, well, they say that a narcissist is in the 7 to 11 year, they've got more of a mindset of a 7 to 11-year-old. But I would argue it's more like a 2 to 7-year-old, to be honest, because they've got that, they really do have that ego. Very egocentric. And when you see them behind the pulpit going on their narcissistic rants, you can liken it, do you know what I'm saying, to like a 7-year-old. Hey, Queen. All right. Then we've got the concrete operational stage, which is 7 to 11 years old. This is when children start to develop logical thinking about concrete events, such as understanding conservation, that the amount of a substance stays the same despite changes in appearance. Okay. So they begin to understand other perspectives. So it's like it's a higher level of learning and understanding the world. And then the 4th stage is the formal operational stage, which is 12 years and up. So this is the stage that we should all be at, which is like adolescents and adults developing abstract reasoning, hypothetical thinking, and problem solving skills. We could also probably say here as well, like critical thought, etc. So before I get into the 4 attachments, what my hypothesis is around the developmental stages and what they do in rewiring our brain and dysregulating our attachment is that, deregulating our neurosystem, is that I believe, my hypothesis is that they deregulate our developmental stages. Yeah. So the indoctrination stops us from being at a formal operational stage, which is the stage where we should have or develop abstract reasoning, hypothetical thinking, problem solving, critical skills, etc. Hey, King Joker. And so the indoctrination stops us from being at this formal operational stage, and the rewiring of the brain takes us back to the sensorimeter stage, which is the infant stage, where we're learning through our senses and actions. So that's the live by faith, not by sight, where we become like a baby, like we can't think for ourselves and we can't do anything for ourselves. Yeah. And basic language, because remember, it's like speak when you're spoken to. It's like you're bounded by choice. You have limited things that you can say. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like they want you to be like a baby, and that's perfect for the narcissist. Yeah. So this is very deep, guys, because remember I said to you, hey bro, that it's like we go back to like a baby, and then they use scriptures to indoctrinate us through the transcendent belief system, the twisting and manipulation, the mystical manipulation of scriptures through prophecies, etc. And then what happens is they say you have to become like a spiritual newborn babe and desire the earnest, sincere milk of the word. So we, like, psychologically, we internalize that we're becoming like a baby. And then they bring in scriptures like, you have to be as humble as a child, this, that, and the third. So they're taking us back. So we come in, because you can't forget about all the physical, because even if it's someone as an addict, they're still going to be, you're still better off. That's what I'm trying to show people, because this is really serious. Because then you've got to unpack all of the issues and the addiction you came with prior, because people are doing stuff in secret, man. Do you know what I mean? That's why we've got all these women getting their SA'd and the pred behavior and everything in there. They just do it behind closed doors and in the secret closet. That's all they do. So you come in at a formal operational stage, unless you've got some sort of learning difficulty or disability, or, you know, autonomy or something neurological that doesn't allow you to be at that stage. But majority of us will come in there with being at a formal operational stage, with the ability to have abstract reasoning, be able to think for ourselves, be able to have hypothetical thinking and problem solving skills, and be able to have a voice, like to speak our mind, critically think. All right. So there's absolutely no one can argue with me on this. This is just what it is. This is the facts. This is right here, and this is a done deal. Thank you for the follow, wealthy Mel. That this is a done deal. There's absolutely, this is the theory. This is it. I could write this as a thesis for university and get a first class on it. Yeah. All right. Just so y'all know that. All right. Because how are you going to go up against education institutions? Thanks for the heart, me, my love. Yeah. Because knowledge is power. And that's why Christ said, study to show thyself approved, because you lot are a fish out of your depth now. Do you get me? Because when the church cop thought they were discarding me, and I was going to end up gang banging and being with shotters and being back on the roads and all that, that's what they thought. Or I would end up on, you know, being just DRUG. You know, that's what they thought. They didn't know that your girl was underground, just deconstructing and deprogramming. Are you having a laugh? You having a, they count you out. They're very judgmental in these spaces. They're very judgy. They will judge you. That's why if you're watching, if you come across this video and you're starting one of any church, do not tell them your business. Go and get a therapist. Go to your GP and go and sign up for free therapy. Was an avid believer, but made a turn. Ooh, that's good. Chair. Because religion is just, you know, it's man-made. It's a social construct. You've got to find your own truth. Do you understand what I'm saying? And they're like, oh, you're antichrist, you're turning people away from God. Listen, babe, I'd rather people believe they were a unicorn than be in Lighthouse Chapel International, First Love, RPF, any of these places, Caris, any of the, they're better off believing that they're a unicorn, that they are they're better off doing that. Because at least they'd be getting paid on social media, you know, them ones. People would love to see that, but in there, they're just rinsing you dry. You're right, they are very judgmental, babe. That's all they do up in there. That's all they do. And you know, that's why now I try to be the least judgmental person that you could ever imagine. Like the person that someone would be afraid to go and speak to or approach or be with. I literally am open to everyone. I don't judge people by appearances. I just really try. I'm always searching myself, unless you're just a bee. If you're just a bee and you got energy towards me and whatever, I'm going to judge you like you going to judge me. I'm going to do an eye for an eye. It can be whatever you want it to be, baby. But on a normal, like, I'm not going to go in and see someone, for example, that's all tatted out or whatever, and just be like, oh, they're this or that. Like, that's what they do. That's what they do in the cop. I'll never forget this time, yeah, Dag, when he used to do CTAs in London, and there's a girl, a survivor, I'm not going to say her name, but she's all tatted up, like she's got like a full sleeve, like she's got bare tats, yeah. And she went up to give like an offering. He asked for like a $2,000 or a $1,000 offering. But the thing is, the girl was doing well. Like, she had her own businesses. Like, she was doing good. And he came up and he literally like double took on her. It was like he was shocked, like he hasn't seen that before, like a girl with loads of tats. And I had that cognitive dissonant moment, because I was also scared for her going up, like how she was going to get judged. But the cognitive dissonance to me, like, you don't clock it. And then when he looked at her twice, when he looked at her twice, it was like he was trying to register. How is a girl looking like this giving a $2,000 offering? And it was when he started traveling and coming to London more and seeing the types of people that were giving offerings, he started to change his rhetoric, because everything before that was do law, do medicine, or do finance, do the subjects of the ages, because he's a doctor, so he wants everyone to follow him. But then as he started seeing different people, it was the different looking people that couldn't be doctors, couldn't be like, we didn't look like that, coming and giving big offerings. That's when he started saying, oh, the art students are overtaking the doctors and the lawyers, and he started saying things like that to, because dad never admits when he's wrong. He just backtracks and contradicts people. So you'll be sitting there doing up cognitive. Didn't you just say that the other day? If they give him money, it's okay. Yeah. That's why these church cults, they love going for like the social media people. That's why I think God wanted me to go on social media, because I was happy just marrying a rich guy. Do you know what I'm saying? And just because when I came out, I started fixing up and that, like when you just start, I wouldn't be like this. I'd have the short nails, the short red nails, or the French tip nails. I'd have like very clean, old fashioned type. And then, I speak like this with my gosh, and this is how I was speaking. You know what I mean? Like, it's not hard for me, babes. Do you know what I'm saying? Are you all right? I come from West, the ghetto of West, babe. I'm all right. So I was happy with doing that, just being like the trophy, because when you go for the older ones, even though I'm in my 30s, I'm still young, just put on a little mini skirt. Do you know what I mean? Bob's your uncle. It's not hard. But it's just this thing just kept taunting me. Like, as I was like going through it, it's like it just didn't leave me, like how dirty they did me. What I'm saying is my interest wasn't the internet. That's what I mean. I like to be more like underground, just doing my thing. Do you get? Because I don't really care about the fame as long as my bills are getting paid. Like, I don't care. That's what I'm saying. That's why no one see me. It's like I've just come out of nowhere. Because even when I was in the cult, even my ex-husband was like, do this, do that on the internet. Da, 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 da. People were always pushing me. But when you're in there, they take away all creativity. Your dreams unalive. You've got no passion. You've only got the will to do what they tell you to do. It's mad. Like, there's no individuality. That part of your brain gets cut off anyway. I'll go into my book, how they stunt like creativity and the growth of the brain. It must be whatever part of the brain allows you to have like imagination, like all of that. There must be something that happens where that part of the brain maybe gets switched off because it's not getting used. Because remember when I looked into it before, that's what happens. And that's why certain parts of your organs will start to fail and whatnot. Do you understand what I'm saying? That, I've only got one adrenal. So I've got Addison's because the adrenals produce cortisol. You see, like when you're stressed, it's like a trauma response. So my adrenals were producing too much cortisol to the point where one unalived. Can you imagine? One of my adrenals unalived. And when I was going for all the investigations, I had a tumor. And then I had to go through tests to see if it was going to be a non-cancerous or a benign or non-benign tumor. And then it came back that it was non-benign. So they had to remove the adrenal that had the tumor on it. So do you see how it's like clogs, like tumors start to happen in your body? And all of that, it's all from the stress. It's all trauma and stress related from the cult because you're running up and down. And you don't feel it because when you're young, you can just keep going and going. And it's the effects of like when you're older, like a 304. Do you understand what I'm saying? By the time she gets older, it's like no D can satisfy her because she's had so much in and out. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, there are effects of the things that you do further on along the way. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? There are effects of it. Yeah. Share. All right. So we've gone through the developmental stages. Yeah. Now, has everyone understood that? Are you following what I'm saying? Now I'm going to go through the 4 attachment styles. Yeah. Discuss the 4 attachment styles. Then I'm going to go into my hypotheses of this because it's a bit multi-dimensional with the attachment because I'm going to come from a I don't know if I want to call it metaphysical spiritual. I don't know because I'm going to talk about it from a spiritual lens and then I'm going to talk. Okay, all right. I'm gonna be looking at attachment styles from a biopsychosocial lens. That's what I'm doing today. All right. So I'm looking at how it affects you biologically, how it affects you psychologically, and how it affects you in the social climate. All right. Because I feel like, hey Tasha, I feel like with cults, it's a human phenomenon. It's multi-dimensional. We go into spiritual, we go into metaphysics, we go into the occult, we go into all different dimensions. And so it takes a lot of studying into many different spheres to really grasp and understand what these MFers are doing. All right, guys, please remember to like up the live on TikTok. Are you not enjoying the live? I was really excited about coming on here. Licia, Can you give Solomon, you need to go and focus on your sexuality, babe. Yeah. And staying out of same schmegs relationships, because Dag's very phobic. He doesn't like that kind of thing in there, babe. So it's all love bombing. You've been in there for a couple of months. All right. But you want to come on here. Because I was in there for 18 years, babe, trying to protect the guys that were feminine in there. Do you understand what I'm saying? Advocating for them. What Solomon needs to go and do is ask about Darrell. What's the other one's name? I keep forgetting his name. It'll come to me. Because Dag changed his name. Dag changed the guy's name. So when I think about his name, I get confused because they changed his name. So I'm forgetting what his original name is. All right. The 4 attachment styles. I did a video. That's the one that I did a video on the other day. All right. So let's look at the 4 attachment styles. The 4 main attachment styles are secure, anxious, avoidant, and disorganized. So these styles developed in childhood through interactions with caregivers, and it influences how individuals form and maintain relationships throughout their lives. Thanks for the follow, Van Dandux. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you for the heart me. Thank you, guys. Secure attachment is considered healthy, while the other 3, anxious, avoidant, and disorganized, are classified as insecure. Hey, Jimmy, welcome. So we're going to look at a more detailed look at each style. So guys, what you can actually do is even jot down notes of what your attachment style is as I'm talking. Do you get what I'm saying? Because remember, I said to you, that's going to help you to deconstruct and deprogram yourself around the trauma. Anyway, we'll get into it. Oh, thanks, Jimmy. Yeah! He sent me a cowboy, little cowgirl hair. Thank you. Thank you, my love. And then it will help you, especially if you're doing therapy. You can go in and explain the kind of attachment that you think you've got, because that's when you get more out of therapy. You can't just sit there and expect to, a friggin' for magic to happen. You've got to put in the work as well. This is why I'm helping to give people a foundation on where to start and how to deconstruct. Because people are like, how do I deconstruct? How do I deprogram? I had to go through all of this by myself. No help, boy. Figuring it up from the ground up. Yeah. But I'm not going to lie, I had an advantage because I had the social work degree and the youth and community work degree, chair. That's how, if I didn't do the studying, I would have been finished. I would have been like mentally impaired for the rest. Like I wouldn't have even been able to have a conversation with you lot. So that's why for me, it's just the grace and mercy of God Almighty. So that's why I'm coming back like this, because this is just mercy. There's other people, like they need to take like 27 meds to help them go toilet, wake up, go to sleep. I know survivors like that, man. I know survivors that, do you understand what I'm saying? There's a survivor, no matter how low I get, I can phone this survivor. Yeah, she's just been through so much that she's bed. She can't even move her bed. Like she's like properly bedbound. And when I'm feeling like I can't do it anymore, that's it. It's all over. I've got someone to call, because imagine that they've been through more than me. So when I call them, they could, I don't even want to cry. And this woman will be like, don't do it, Leah. Please don't delete yourself. You're the only one I've got. She's got no family, lost all her only family in the cold. Like she's been like ABUSED like her whole life. She's got no one. And she's saying, Leah, if you go, something happens to you, what am I going to do? You know, like these are the type of relationships that we formed as a collective. Because all we've got is each other. Like no one else gets it. Like unless you were like really in there, no one else really understands. Like I used to be sitting next to this woman, and like she's just like been great. Love you too, girl. And I was sitting next to her on a Tuesday service, and I didn't. That's how dark and sinister it is. Oh, thank you, Josiah. Josiah, do you know what? I'm really trying. You know, and I am seeing like that the movement's growing stronger. There's more support, and you know, I'm really lucky. I'm really lucky to have you guys, man. I'm really lucky to have the support. I just love the collective. And guys, the survivor link up is coming. I've just been all over the place. I've been all over the place just trying to process everything, because as I'm learning and I'm going back and revisiting the attachment and the developmental. Oh no, man, I'm lucky to have you lot, man. It's like deconstructing me all over again. Like this season, it's been a lot of purging, a lot of things from within that I didn't even know that was in there, and I'm absolutely exhausted just releasing all of this trauma. And I know it will be better at the end of it because I'm feeling absolutely everything and I'm pushing through. Just keep pushing. That's what I am, you know. I'm a fighter. I've always been a fighter. I don't give up. I got heart. Thank you, Tish. You know, I'm built different. I'm just built different. And that's why, like, no one will ever know, like, how much pain I'm in today. Like, I had to ask my children to help me with stuff. Greatness is in the making, and I'm feeling your energy. Thank you. Hey, Layla. I don't know. What I'm talking about is deconstructing me, you know. And I know kids are supposed to clean and help up and stuff, but my girls are so good, you know. But it's like, I could barely move this morning, you know, man. Like, this is what it does to me, like, the chronic fatigue. And it's like, I have to say to my kids, like, mommy's not lazy, like I have to let my kids know, like, I'm disabled. And then I want to come on the lives and I want to do the content, but I just don't physically have the strength. And I just surrender. I just surrender to the way my body feels. And for the first time in my life, it's all right, Lainey. For the first time in my life, I'm just surrendering, like, not pushing my body. Yeah, girl. I'll just be sitting here crying by myself. Ground yourself, breathe, and get some sun. All right. I'll do that after I come up. That's if my legs can get me out. If not, I'll have to stick my head out the window, babe. Because my legs, when my legs are like this, I'm like, I can't even move. Like, that's, hey, Queen Nassie. Oh, look at Nassie understands. I'll try. I've got a garden downstairs. Even if I just try, I could just walk to just go out there and ground myself. Because it's like, yeah, she's saying lie in the grass. Yeah, I will. I need to get out and lay in the grass because it's just the depth of what they've done, and I don't want to let them win. I'm going to finish this. I just had a little breakdown. Let me even if I can just finish this first bit. I think I needed to just let that out. I think everyone's feeling it though at the moment, you know. I just hope they're feeling it the most, you know, like the church cults. I really want them to be feeling it, especially the members inside. I want them to be feeling it so, like, real bad, and there's nothing that they can do to help them or give them any peace or solace, so that they just start to have enough and start to search elsewhere, and then they come across me on the FYP. That's the thing, like, they can't stop this, you know. At some point, someone who's been ABUSED'd from these environments, they're going to stumble across me on the FYP. Create a mantra so you can ground yourself when you get overwhelmed. Ooh, I like that. Okay. Thank you, babe. Maybe I can do it so I can sing it as well, because, you know, on days when I can sing. Thank you. And thanks, everyone, for being here and listening, and for all the follows and gifts, because I was kind of just going through such an emotional little win just then. And I will do what people have said, even if I just go into my garden, you know, the weeds are good enough. I need to sort it out in there. All right. So I was talking about the different styles of attachment, okay? Because you need to understand what type of attachment you were coming into these spaces with. So what made you vulnerable, what made you more susceptible to the abuse, and then that will help you to unpack the pre-trauma. And then we're going to get into the second half, okay? Because there's a few dimensions and I'll be unpacking this. So the secure attachment is individuals with secure attachment that feel comfortable with intimacy and independence, trusting their partners and expressing their needs effectively. So very few people will have, you know, like the secure attachment where both parents were around, they grew up in that family home where both were, you know, gave them that security and a good, like, you know, that sort of foundation, emotional stability, etc. Then we've got avoidant attachment. People with avoidant attachment tend to suppress their emotions and maintain distance in relationships, often preferring independence and avoiding emotional vulnerability. So there might have been a bit of, you know, emotional neglect, or maybe that a child didn't feel loved from their parent, etc. Yeah. Avoidant attachment. People with avoidant attachment tend to suppress their emotions and maintain distance in relationships, often preferring independence and avoiding emotional vulnerability. Lucia, let me know, because I'm a bit rough on this. You'll be a bit more if it's yeah, I don't. You were saying avoidant, yeah, yeah. I think I'm in between avoidant and disorganized, you know. And then we've got disorganized attachment. This style, often rooted in trauma or instability, involves unpredictable and inconsistent behaviors, sometimes seeking closeness and other times pulling away. Yeah, in it. Um, So, attachment styles developed through early interactions with caregivers significantly impact a child's emotional, social, and cognitive development. Secure attachment characterized by consistent and responsive caregiving, so it fosters healthy emotional regulation, trust, and resilience. And remember, I said like not many people will have that. Do you know what I mean? But when you come in the cult, they want you to put it on, like be fake, like act like someone who's had this secure attachment growing up, and now you're perfect and everything's fine, and you know the trauma's all wiped away. Behold the new. You know, it's like that kind of thing, and that's really unhealthy because people it gets stored up in the body. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like all of the suppressed, oppressed, like it could be anger, it could be resentment, it could be hate, it could be, you know, it all gets stored up in the body, and then it manifests into sickness and disease. Hey Faith. Insecure attachment styles such as anxious, ambivalent, avoidant, or disorganized can lead to emotional and behavioral issues, including difficulties in forming and maintaining relationships later in life. Yeah, the body keeps the score. Absolutely, Layla. Absolutely. Absolutely. So when we're all dressed up in there with our suits, like eventually, sorry guys, I had, you know, that big cry. Oh God. Eventually the body just starts to just completely just what's the word, oh, you know, when you like shut down, the body starts to shut down, and so does the organs, boy. It's serious, you know. The body starts to shut down and so does your organs, and it happens over time. So that's why like all of these young'uns coming and chatting and whatever, I'm like, oh babe, wait until you get your autoimmune diseases. Do you know what I mean? Like wait until you get your your chronic illnesses. Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? Most of the gal them will realize when they have a child. No, they're coming and having some chat for me. That's why most of them are silent, because they know what I'm saying is true. It's only the RADICAL ones that have known, you know, the cult for 5 minutes. They're the ones talking, like the new ones or the second gen that have been wrapped in cotton wool their whole life. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or just severely indoctrinated. They've got no identity outside. These are the only ones speaking up. People don't want none of this. They don't want to cut, because I'm going to read you for absolute filth. Do you get what I'm saying? Then by the time I'm done, you're going to be sitting there in front of the mirror rocking back and forth crying, because I've just told you, I've just read everything that's happened your whole life, like up until this point. Because your behavior, even from the sentence that you write on here, I can tell what type of person you are. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, what? And that's what I'm saying. That's what makes them vulnerable when they're in these spaces. There's no understanding of spiritual protection, spiritual hygiene. And do you know what I mean? Like everyone's in there just holding each other's hand. They're a random person's hands, you know. Just like there's germs you can pick up from your face, there's also spiritual stuff. That's why people who are woke, like spiritual people who understand how this really works. That's why the mug doesn't want anyone and anyone anywhere near him or his precious kids' chair. Do you see the mug letting everyone hold his grandchildren and passing them around? Do you see it? Do you see him coming and speaking to everyone after the service? Why? Because he's protecting his energy. Why? That's spiritual hygiene, spiritual. They're not silly. They've just taken all the energy from us. They're not going to give us any energy back. They're gone. They've walked out. They go to the back. That's why they do that. They want us to be the ones like losing all our energy, like getting unwell, walking up and down. Because even that, like exercise is good, but it's like when you're out like every day and you're walking up and down and you're not eating properly, you're not hydrating yourself properly, you're not sleeping. Do you get what I'm saying? Then you're working, then you're doing studying. Like the average person, like the average young person, they can like my children get really tired. I couldn't imagine them doing up, you know, like all of these services and all this stuff they got going on. And no, man, my child needs to rest. And this is like, there's long-term effects. Do you understand? It's not like someone just gets cancer one day or gets this one day. It happens over time. That's what I'm saying. If anyone gets any type of sickness that's like autoimmune or it's chronic, like related to stress or, you know, all of that, it's from the cult because of the indoctrination and the trauma. And I think a lot of survivors are actually coming to those realizations now because they didn't before. It was like me. Like I remember being in a support group and it was like about 3 of the people. One woman didn't have any adrenals because of the cult ABUSE. Another man had one. I think, and someone had a kidney or something removed. And I was just crying. It was just too much because it was just at that point I realized, OMG, like all of it wasn't clocking that the medical issues were directly related to the cult. My mental health, I knew. And that's what I was coming to the mental health services with. So that's why they diagnosed me with CPTSD initially. It was only after 4 years or however many they realized, oh, okay, this is BPD. Hey, King Dreads. Because I was presenting all of the cult issues were being presented to them. So they were like, oh, okay, it's most likely complex PTSD from those experiences, whatever. But when that wasn't working and the 6-month therapy wasn't helping, and I kept saying to this man, I didn't want to be rude because it was a space for me to just come and talk, but it's not really what I need. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, obviously, when you have BPD, it's like a different thing that they need to be doing up with you. So it's all a process. You've got to be patient with yourself. You've got to be kind to yourself. Don't put a timing on it. Stay in your blood clot lane. Don't be watching. Do you know where that comes from? If you don't drive yet, you need to focus. Imagine being in like Blackwall Tunnel, you know, a skinny or Rotherhithe Tunnel, or you know the one where there's 2 lanes. All right, let's go with Dartford Blackwall Tunnel, yeah? 2 lanes. All right. So they're very narrow lanes. You can't be looking left or right. You got to stay, even if you're on the motorway, you got to stay in your lane, bro. So you don't collide into anyone. Like that's what it's about. Don't be watching left, right, this, that. Just just focus on self. Because let me tell you something, yeah. There were people who were admiring my marriage. They make everything look so perfect, but not everything that glitters is gold. You could be here having gone through so much stuff. Next year you're a millionaire. You found the love of your life. You found your perfect, you know, soul connection and that. Because it's not about getting married and signing paperwork. These men are marrying these women. Look at Davido. Look at me, no Choma. Oh, please give us a small break. It's like now we're waking up to hear that Davido is right back where he was. He's comfortable in this position of making the publicly humiliating this woman. But anyway, she's staying there, so that's what she wants. Do you know what I'm saying? But again, do you get what I'm saying? I don't want that. It's not proving anything. You need to have that kind of connection with a man, like no matter where he is in the world, he's thinking about you because you've got that. You're connected on that level, like it's deep. It goes beyond like physical. It transcends time. It transcends this 3D, this physical. You're connected in such a deep way. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why I'm celibate. I'm not out here. I'm not just giving myself to anyone. I don't got time for that, man. If you're gonna come correct, innit? Like I want more of a like there needs to be a connection. Otherwise, I don't want it. There's no point. And I'm not asking for commitment. I'm asking for a connection. Because anyone can give you fake commitment. Anyone can wear a ring and, you know, take off their ring when they keep the ring on anyway. They don't even care. Thanks for the follow, Trish. I want a real connection, like someone I can sit there and speak to for hours about everything and anything, and that listens to me and makes me feel heard and seen. And do you know what I mean? If I don't get that, because someone's made me feel that way before, do you get what I'm saying? So why am I gonna have anything less? And I can't deal with fake people. It's like, you know you're fake, just don't even bother approaching me. There's no point. I'm just gonna see straight through you. There's no point. I'm not like these fake prophetesses claiming to hear from God and claiming to, and then going and marrying a man that's finessing them and clearly using them to clout chase and be on the come up. Like, I really be seeing through people in real life, in real time, you know, them ones. All right. So insecure attachment styles such as anxious, ambivalent, avoidant, or disorganized can lead to emotional and behavioral issues, including difficulties in forming and maintaining relationships later in life. Yeah. So you have to understand, if you're coming into these environments and say like you've got an avoidant or a disorganized attachment, you've got like a lot of trauma from maybe not having a parent, or maybe having a parent that was ABUSE, and you come into these environments and everyone's wearing a mask, everyone's being fake, then let's add the extra bit of it that you've got autism or BPD or something like that. So now you're taking what they're saying as like for face value, like you're believing it like what's the word? Literally. Yeah. So you already have a difficulty forming and maintaining relationships, trust issues, and then these people are just love bombing the hell out of you. Do you see how someone like this is easy to manipulate, release, relishing? Oh, that's a good word though. Sure. But they do relish. And you know what, Lucia? These groups of people are high grade supply for mogs and wogs. It's they love it. They love this supply. You know, like a little, you know, that will be chasing after them. Do you understand what I'm saying? Coming to them. That's what they do. They make you codependent. That's what they do. And once they've told you that, they'll know what type of person you are. Do you get what I'm saying? Once you open your heart to them, that's why you have to guard your heart with all diligence. That's what it says. For from it flows the springs of life. So when you got to be careful when you're opening up, especially the lads, be careful what women you're opening up to, man. You'll be opening up to a woman and she'll be laughing behind your back. Bros, please be careful the women that you open up to and you let into your heart. That's why they want you to tell them all your business, especially if you're a granny's boy. Oh my God, if you're a granny's boy, please, I beg. Yeah, they want you to tell them all your business. From the moment you get there, they're asking you how many people you've slept with. If you had your dad around, have you studied your past? And they're really claiming like they're going to help you. And then you're seeing this mog. Yes, I do, Osas. What you telling me about her? Davia was so vulnerable. I remember her back in the day. She would like do this thing with her eyes where she couldn't look at you when she was speaking to you. She used to like speak down. She's definitely got, she always wants to know everyone's business. See, I know Davia more as the young person, like before she became the pastor and the leader. And the thing is, I never had no qualms with Davia, you know. Seriously, like I did it because she's Jamaican, isn't it? She's one of the very few Jamaicans in there. The Jamaicans, we just both know what we're on, yeah. But I just don't think I realised how intimidating I am. Because even when I was severely indoctrinated, people still didn't want none of this chat. They all know about me, man. They don't know who I am outside of these streets, yeah. Oh my God, they're really trying it. I was number one defender. Do you know what I'm saying? Like ready to do anything and everything for that church cult. Are you having a laugh? What? That's why I'm the queen of the mega church. There's no way. Like everybody who know, like no one's gonna come and challenge this throne, baby. Are you having a laugh? I don't think you lot know what I was prepared to do for that culture. I think I was too much. They weren't sure. Because and then you remember a minister, there's a power with the ministration, like the anointing. I think they feared me deep down inside. I think there was a bit of a fear. They were never quite sure, like deep down inside. And I had to go through so many tests. Oh, hey, greetings. I had to go through so many tests and be around for so much longer before they like entrusted me with stuff. Because it's like they tried to get rid of me in so many ways to like push me out, like so many tests. And it's like, because it's like, why am I here? I could be anywhere in any church, you know, like that vibe. But I kept staying, and eventually they just, It's like, it's like someone that you keep beating down and then they just keep coming back. They just keep back up. Like a lost dog. Like, that's what I was like. Yeah, the book's going really well. Thanks for asking. It's going really well. I'm shaping and framing the books of my lives. So what I've been doing is meditating and praying and asking God what the topic is. And then when the topic comes to my mind, or it could be through different things. Like today I was trying to search for a presentation. I stumbled across the wrong presentation. I'm getting angry, where's the other presentation? I'm so upset. And then imagine the presentation that I found, and I'm going to share it with you guys at a point, is an observation that I did of a church cult member's son. And I started looking at attachment, developmental stages and attachment. And I said, if this presentation's here, there must be a reason. There must be a link for this. And when I started looking into it and looking at development, like refreshing, doing like a refresher on the developmental stages and the attachment theories, is when I saw, ooh, this is really important. There's a really important link here to this piece of the puzzle in our recovery. Yeah. And guys, as I heal more, I'll be putting on recovery sessions. I'll be doing groups. I've got the CIC, in time. I hope to get the funding. I know what I'm doing already. You're all here. Survivors are all here. We're going to take it at our pace. I think when we're all ready to start coming physically and doing up groups and doing that, that's when I think the CIC will be ready, because remember, I'm moving at your pace and my pace, because we've got a lot of mental health issues to unpack. We've got a lot of stuff, but it's not going to be long. Like I envision, I really do want to start soon, but I can't say when, guys, because, I went and set up that CIC and I did this and I did, and it's like, just take a step back and just focus on yourself, woman. Like, just focus on your recovery so it can be like a long-term change. Like I really, I'm seeing the woman that I want to become more and more every day. I really see it. Yeah, Paris, them ones, in it. You get me? So I'm just embracing it. But today's an all right day, guys. You could come on tomorrow and I could be crying my eyes out. I just want to delete myself. I'm so unstable, but that's what I have. Emotional, unstable personality disorder, baby. I'm the queen of it. But most people, like TV Gold and that, like the Nikki Grahams of this world of life, they all had like bipolar and like BPD. We're special, we're great, we're entertaining. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like you want to come and pay us some water over to get this out today, man? Loving lineation expressions, lineation. Ooh, chair. What's that chair? What's that chair? I know all the greats. We got to. Because there's so much negativity and like derogatory stereotypes around mental health and autoimmune diseases and neurodivergence and things like that. So I just want to show like it doesn't mean like you can be cool, like it's cool, like just embrace yourself, just like be yourself. Like that's what my whole like mantra is. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like we should just all embrace each other. All right, I'm trying to think where I put. All right, okay. Now we're gonna look at. Did I speak about all the attachments? I did, innit, guys? Sorry, let me just get to the part about the cults quickly. All right. Now I'm going to talk about, depending on what attachment style you have, how it makes you more vulnerable and more susceptible to joining cults. I would love to be on a panel with you and others like yourself. Ooh, okay. That's your slogan, Minakir. Yeah, innit, Minakir. Yeah, I've got that's good. Message me then. So when I start doing that up, I know like who to come to, yeah. But something like that, I'd probably have like a panel just for like show for us to be there. But then I would do it like an open forum where the mic, because I just hate those kind of things. It just gives me like PTSD, because we had a lot of panels like for Valentine. I don't, do you know what, even thinking about it gives me a bit of PTSD. We could do it in a style maybe where we make it a bit more inclusive, maybe in groups. And then Minakir Ministries, that's what we are, Minakir. And J Dreads is the security. Could have maybe like little groups, do you understand what I'm saying? And then like discuss it. I don't know, we'd have to think about it, do you know what I mean? Yeah, not a preach and teach. Yeah, because everybody has a voice. Everybody has something to contribute. There is no one who is better than anybody else, who know more than anyone else, who could. We don't like dictatorship. We don't like too much organization here. We don't like. That's why when I do the survivor link up, like everything with me, it's all over the place because it was so structured in there. It was so I just can't do that. I just cannot do it. It just gives me PTSD. So we just have it really organically flowing. Yeah, do you know what I mean, JJ? I can't like. Why do we need a dictator? We have that everywhere chair. We got the popo. We've got the schools. We've got our work. We've got our manager. On the one table, we just want to come and relax, yeah. We just want to come and listen to a bit of music and talk a little bit about our trauma. Do you know what I mean? It's like everybody should get a chance to speak, and then there's no force to speak. There's no pressure. You just pass the mic. If you don't want to speak, you just pass the mic. Or you could just even say something like, I love you, or have a nice day, or I hope everyone's good, or something. Because everyone needs to get included. Everyone has a voice. Instead of them taking 2 to 4 hours to stand up there and just teach absolute human fecal matter, by the time you leave, you haven't remembered anything, barely anything they've said. Let's be honest. That's why it's all about the roles, positions, being seen, doing this, doing. People are just around to do. It's very legalistic. It's about works. You get it? Faith plus works equals salvation. Like that's what they're on, innit? Like even with this movement, like I know the way God works now. God does not work in religion. God is not in religion. That's not the way God works. When people were asking me, Leah, what do you want to get out of this? What's the purpose? What's this? What's that? I couldn't tell people. Like God, when God is leading you, and you'll look a bit insane. Like you won't even look. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like when you look back at how God's used people, these are false. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So it's like God, because God moves in a faith way, like not seeing to believe. Do you understand? Because God moves in a faith-based way, you'll never know what's coming next. You might know like your will, like what you're meant, like over, but God will do it like shining a light, like on every step that you take, because God orders your steps. So you can tell all of this planning, this ritualistic stuff that they do every year. That's not. It's religion. Please tell the truth. I shame the devil right now, because God doesn't. God speaks through like it's like ancient. It's like the ancient of ways, because currencies and all of the things that they've created, that's not from God, innit? But like remember, a day is like 1,000 years to God. So he don't like, if God would even speak to us in a certain way, it would blow our mind. We wouldn't be able to understand it. So sometimes God uses things like in this day and age and in this realm or whatever to help you understand. But when God is speaking to you, mainly God will be speaking to you, it's through nature. That's why the Bible's like that. Go and look at the Songs of Solomon. Go and look at the Songs of Solomon. He's there describing the woman's neck as a goat's this, and her hair like a flowing this and that and all. Do you understand what I'm saying? Are you having a laugh? Are you having a laugh? When God is moving and God is working with you, it will be like a river. You won't like God doesn't talk like that, innit? Like when they're coming and saying, "Oh, God said to me today." It will be like with specific. I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but I'm just trying to help you lot see that a lot of it is fake. It's not real. Set it up, then 5 minutes a time. Oh, okay. Oh, what do you mean on hair? Are you a survivor? Black and Infant, are you a survivor? Because I do take survivors on, but at the moment I don't have energy to take them on. Are you talking about TikTok? Because I do have survivors on, and I do need to do a survivor live. I had a couple survivors on the other day, but because my energy levels are low, that's why I haven't been taking survivors on. But are you a survivor? Yeah, that's all it is repetition. That's all it is. It's a formula. It's a blueprint that they all follow. All the churches, they all follow it. It comes from Catholicism. That's where it comes from. Do you get it? And they're so afraid of coming out of that because that's all they know. That's all they know. So all they can try and do is just counteract what I'm saying, or not say anything. They're so EVIR, man. It's so bad. And people don't want to wake up. Like they know there's truth in what I'm saying, but they don't want to face it. Because these guys are married. They're in unalived marriages. Do you understand what I'm saying? Going up to preach every day, just living a lie. They've just been living their lies. So now when they're hearing this, it's like it's a reality check. What are they going to do about it? So everyone's going to be going through it. They're all going through it, man, because you don't know the thoughts of man. That's why I said to you, you've got to leave people to God, yeah. No matter how people try. Listen, if Osanachi was getting the hands that her husband was putting on her was differently, yeah. She was getting up to sing in front of hundreds of thousands of people. The man ended up unaliving her like a couple of days after she did a big performance. People, they fake it until they make it in their chair. Do you know what I'm saying? They'll fake it till they unalive because the pride and ego. But because they've indoctrinated the women to see pride as like me, for example, when pride was staying with a man who was putting his hands on you because you cared about how it looked, you thought it would, be faithful to the past or whatever. There's a lot of false doctrine, and this false doctrine can end up having very serious, dangerous consequences, resulting in people unaliving. How would you run a church if you were to? I wouldn't, J. Dreads, I'll keep it real with you. I wouldn't. I don't believe in any type of institutions, and it gives me PTSD. I wouldn't run a church. That's the answer to that. I just would not. Yeah. And I'm not going to give them any advice because in the beginning I was actually willing to work with churches and this and that, but now I'm not, unfortunately. So I won't be. I will not be working with them. I have absolutely nothing to say to them. I don't want to sit down with anyone. I don't want to speak with them. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm not on it, and I won't be talking about like that season's over now. I'm not even going to talk about what I won't be putting any recommendations in for what I think that they need to do up, and I'll be putting recommendations in for government. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like in terms of guidance and policy, but I won't be putting in, yeah. They're going to have to figure it out themselves. And anyway, they're so indoctrinated by, the colonialist mindset. Do you get what I'm saying? Like it would, because they'd have to go into like deconstruction of Christianity, into labor. They'd have to go into all of that. They're not prepared to do it. Do you know what I'm saying? And a lot of these mogs and whatever, they haven't had a proper job a day in their life. They get all of their like validation, their supply, they get it all from the congregation in the role that they do in there. Do you understand what I'm saying? So they would have to start there. They would have to unpack that first. All right. So attachment styles, particularly insecure ones, can make individuals more vulnerable. Hope I'm not falling out of this chair. Can make individuals more vulnerable to cult manipulation. Cults often exploit these attachment patterns by creating a sense of belonging and security, while simultaneously fostering dependence and fear, making it difficult for members to leave. All right. So do you see that, guys? Do you see how they and that's why they want to know everything about us, because then they'll know what type of attachment we have, where their wiggle room is to ABUSC us, what's going to work, what's going to press our buttons, do you understand what I'm saying? So they will know if we didn't have a family, their whole thing is going to be family. They're going to be talking about it and preaching. That's how they're going to be talking to you when they're manipulating you behind the scenes as well. So that is fostering that codependency, and also it makes it difficult to leave because it's their whole support infrastructure. Especially imagine like you've never had a family, never had anyone to support you. This stuff's deep, man. Oh, I just want to say my heart goes out to people who haven't had a family and who have been like care experience, and I just want to say my heart really goes out to you guys, man, because this will be harder. And that's why I'm saying you can't compare yourself to me, because I was in there for 18 years. You might have been in the cult for 6 months, 2 years, whatever. But because you've come from, like, you've had disorganized attack, you've come from a lot. So that you would have got high level exposure to like manipulation, to like, the dysregulation of your nervous system, your brain. And then it's going to bring up all of the unresolved trauma, the uncomplicated grief, the fear of rejection, the fear of abandonment. You know what I'm saying? That's what it did for me. And then I got with a guy. Oh God, I should, like, honestly. Have a blessed day. Keep up the good work. Oh, all right then. I'll speak to you soon, bro. It's so deep, man. Is this helping people? Let me know. Understanding attachment theory can shed light on how cults operate and how to help individuals recover from cult involvement. So yeah, my thinking was right. This is what helps you in recovery, guys. Unpacking it. because you have to go back to the root, the childhood trauma. So do you see how your childhood trauma, there's a link? Because I don't know if I'll get into it today. I'll try. But what my hypothesis is even if you came in there with a secure attachment, by the time you've stayed in there for a certain period of time, that will be converted into a spiritual disorganized attachment. Because remember, you've got spiritual parents that are abusing you, psychologically breaking you down, spiritual violence, etc. So that turns into disorganized. So I'm going to be discussing that in my book, but that's a little food for thought. So that's why I say, do you see now what I say? If you had like a disorganized or unsecure attachment prior to coming into the cult, then you've got this narcissistic mother that you were seeing as this beacon of light and hope. Finally, you have this family. Finally, you have this family you never had, and everyone loves you, and it's so perfect. And then that gets shattered. Your reality gets shattered. So now that's going to bring up what you feared most has now come upon you. Do you get what I'm saying? So like how I would come out and I've got my mum and I've got a supportive family. You've come out, you've got no one. Do you see the difference? Do you see the difference? That's why you can't compare with another person, because this is a human phenomenon. Someone could come out that was in a cult for 4 months and end up deleting themselves. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because it was just too much for them to deal with. So guys, share. Yeah. All right. Attachment fairies and cults. Insecure attachment. So individuals with insecure attachment styles, anxious or avoidant, may be more susceptible to cult recruitment. Wow. Exploitation of attachment. So cult leaders often act as secure bases. This is just what I was saying, for followers, providing a sense of belonging and meeting unmet emotional needs. And when we look at the Maslow hierarchy of needs, we all know that someone wants a sense of belonging. Do you understand what I'm saying? To feel a part of something like that, like that's innate in being a human being. So they exploit on that fact. That's why they want to know your past. Like, have you been sleeping around? Has your dad been around? Has your mum been around? Hey Lola, like what's the situation? So they present themselves to you like the security, like love bombing. It will feel like a fairy tale, like, oh my God, all my dreams are coming true. And remember, guys, anything that's too good to be true, it's not true. You know them ones. You know them pastors, they love to have that. So mine is, when it's too good to be true, then it's not true. You know them ones. So whilst also creating a power dynamic that fosters dependence. Thanks, Lola G. I'm good, girl. How are you? So do you see that through the exploitation of attachment, that's when they slither in like a little snake, and then they assert the power dynamics, and then that's how they start to foster the codependency on not only the leader, not only the mog or the wog, but also the environment. All right. Trauma bonding. Let's get into it. Cults can create a trauma bond by combining elements of terror and love, which can be difficult to break. And they also do up that push and pull thing. And they also do up promotion, demotion, because they want to show you like they're like, you know, you are who you are because of them. But also another thing I want to say with the trauma bonding is they spend a lot of time talking to you. So they'll say like they sow a lot of time in you, and that's the first thing they're throwing back in your face when you leave, or you know, they'll be telling you they're disappointed in you, like they're your parent. You know, you've let them down. They're absolutely bonkers in there. They've lost their blood clot marbles. Yeah. And you know, a trauma bond, don't ever get it twisted. That's not a hard thing. That's not an easy thing to recover from. You know, there's gyal them where certain man them that they've been doing up trauma bonds, they've ended up in the psych ward chair. So don't let that go over your head. Don't let the trauma bond. In fact, I think I need to just do a whole 7-part series on trauma bonds, because I don't think people can unalive from a heart. You understand? A heartbreak. Like that's how deep it is. Like, guys, how I even survived this, only God knows, man. Honestly, I feel like calling myself the Iron Lady. Like literally, I'm literally made out of spiritual steel, because the things that should have broken me, the things that should have taken me out, yeah. Imagine your boyfriend unaliving at 19. 2 years before that, my nan unalived. A year in between that, my boy unalived. Are you crazy? It just felt like unalivement. After like from 16 to 19, it was just bare people unaliving. Yeah. It was absolutely crazy. And then to feel like, oh my God, I finally made it into this church. Oh my, yes, I have a second chance. I could just leave all of that behind and just to come to the realization 18 years later that it was all a lie. How are you ever the same after that? How do you ever decompartmentalize that, to make sense of it, to understand it, to unpack it? So many different broken pieces that need to be put back together. How do you do that? How do you navigate your way through your whole support infrastructure and system and your purpose on earth that you thought you had it all figured out, to one day wake up and see that this is all a lie and they're all actors. And then on top of that, they've been taking all your money. Like you're some idiot outside in these streets. You know, sometimes I just sit here and I just start laughing to myself, like, wow, like they really did you dirty. That's why I'm so happy where I live. You know, I just get everything from nature. I could just look out, and because I'm telling you, I'm not the one to play with, chair. On my life, I'm not the one to play with. Hey, Healing GC, and anyone that's come into contact with me, whether good or bad, they know I'm not the one, chair. Because no matter what situation you've dealt with me, you would have always seen my other side come through in some shape, way, or form. So I'm not the one. All right. So we've done up the trauma bonding. And they do up a lot of fear. Like I was listening to Dag the other day. I've got to do that. I've got so much content. And he was using so much fear-based tactics. I was just like, oh my God, this is actually sickening to watch. Like I couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? Like, but when you're in there, you just don't realize. They rule and govern through fear, like a tyrannical leader. That's what they are. Right. Okay. So now we're going to get into disorganized attachment. The experience of fear and control within a cult can lead to a disorganized attachment style. Let's take it again. Didn't I say that before? The experience of fear and control within a cult can lead to a disorganized attachment style where individuals may both seek out and avoid the cult leader or group, making it difficult to think rationally. This is so good. Like you see AI and ChatGPT is the best thing that has ever happened to us. I don't care what they say. It's exposing all of these guys. Isolation. Cults often isolate members from outside influences, limiting their access to information and alternative perspectives, further reinforcing the cult's control. So cults and attachment patterns, anxious attachment. Individuals with anxious attachment may be drawn to cults that offer a sense of belonging and security, but they may also experience anxiety and fear related to the cult's rules and expectations. So do you see that's why with the anxious attachment, when you leave now, it's going to exasperate, whether it was that you might have BPD, bipolar, you might have anxiety. So it's going to exasperate that now, because it's like your greatest fear has now come upon you. I am on the way out, but hopefully I can catch you later on live. Yeah, I'll be on later, babes. And also the videos on YouTube, Leah Lauder 777, and this will stay up. So feel free to come back. And if you're not following me, and if you're not subscribed on my YouTube, please subscribe. Leah Lauder 77. I'm trying to build a platform bigger than my cult leader. That's all it's about. That's all it's about. I'll keep it a buck with you. That's all it's about. So if you could support your home girl, because I've grown this from nothing. And I'm really happy to see my YouTube subscribers going up, man. It gives me so much joy. All right. Individuals with anxious attachment may be drawn to cults that offer a sense of belonging and security, but they may also experience anxiety and fear related to the cult's rules and expectations. And those with avoidant attachment may be drawn to cults that minimize emotional intimacy. Wow. Oh my God. Is this triggering anyone? And demand conformity, but they may also struggle with the cult's demands for obedience and loyalty. That makes sense, because you're avoidant, you're scared of like commitment, and that's what they're asking for. So people with it's like you feel trapped like a caged bird, because you're not dealing with your avoidant attachment. You are just getting indoctrinated to go, with order. So that's why when you see a guy who's got like 5 baby mums, been sleeping with the whole block, and then he comes into church and starts being a pastor, do you see that there's no healing that's been done? They've just put a plaster over the trauma, and he's just getting told what to do from the pastor. I guarantee you that pastor, that spiritual father or whatever, unalives tomorrow, you see that guy crumble. He won't know what to do, because that's his codependency, like God. Do you get it? They become gods, like you're codependent on them. You feel like you can't survive or live without the words they speak, without them being in your life. That is a god. You've placed them as what God is supposed to be in your life. That's on period point blank. I mean, I care. Disorganized attachment. Cults can create a disorganized attachment style in members regardless of their pre-cult attachment style. Remember I said this, through the use of fear and control. Remember I said this. So it's important to, within your deconstruction and deprogramming journey, sorry, please make the start, the beginning part, be looking at your trauma. What trauma did you what childhood trauma have you got, and as a result of that, what type of attachment did you have? Even if you had a 2.0 family, blah 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 blah, you come from a secure attachment, again, because of the ABUSE of the cult leader, that would have changed your attachment, and it would have distorted your reality and your perception and your psychosocial views, so how you view and see the world. All right. So that's why we're saying that there has to be that deconstruction of Christianity and the narcissism within it and the manipulation of the sacred text, etc., so that you can understand how such EVIL men had the opportunity, how they have the opportunity to be in these positions, and then why people are following them. All right. And once you do it through that way, it becomes crystal clear. Once you unsee it, once you see it, it can't be unseen, unfortunately. And this is why I'm out here doing up this, even if I've got one person, zero person, two, it just takes one person to see it. If it's just what, because listen, if there's someone that is carrying the branch, the church cult branch on their back, and they decide to leave, that's a big problem, because they act like, oh, God will replace you, God will get the stones to praise him, we don't need your money, did it? But you do, because like Dag, he said, in one breath, he's there talking about offering for 10 minutes, saying he doesn't need your offering, but in the same vein, he's begging. So that's why people get cognitive dissonance, because like, you're saying you don't need our offering, but you're begging at the same time. So it's like, it's not matching. It's not matching up. 2 + 2 is not 1 million, babe. Yeah. It's only the people in the self-sealing system that can't see it. It's just this last bit, but I don't know where it went, guys. Cult environments. Oh, okay. Oh, this is another bit. Yeah. We've done avoidant, disorganized. All right. The intense fear-based relationships within cults can create strong trauma bonds, making it difficult for members to leave. Exploitation of early attachment patterns. Cults can replicate disturbed family attachment patterns to establish control. So remember, I was saying this, if you come from that diaspora, do you know, it begins with A and ends in A. There's like that toxic cultural, like, you know, the misogyny, the patriarchy, how women are supposed to be, you know, slaves, got that slave master mindset, the obedience, the submission, the subservience that you have to leaders. You don't speak a certain way to your elders. You remain silent, like a slave, like orders, like I'm big, you know, that type of auntie and uncle parenting. So when those patterns are replicated, remember, that feels like home to you. That's normalized. That dysfunctional, abusive behavior is normalized to be seen as, oh, they only did it because they love me. No, babe. They did it because they were projecting. They did it because they didn't chase their dreams. So now they've come to this country and they feel like they need to live their dreams through you, and they're projecting, and they have a lot of undiagnosed and unresolved mental health, my love. Yeah. So it's these type of truths that we need to come to terms with. Do you get what I'm saying? To be set truly free, because it didn't start in the church. Guess what? It started in the environment. It started at your house, your home. It started in your hood. It started in your area. It started at school, whatever. But the cult is like when you hit rock bottom, when you're like at the end of your tether. It's like you're either gonna just say that's it, or it's out of just saying that's it, or joining a church cult. You know them ones. That's when you end up in there. So that's where the unpacking needs to happen of the trauma, and allowing yourself to have that healing space, as well as reaching out to therapy. But also, you can go online and look up therapeutic approaches. There are a lot of therapists online, on TikTok, on YouTube. We really don't have any excuse these days, because even listening to me, I'm not a therapist, but I have a social work master, so I'm trained to deliver things with therapeutic approaches. We're very closely aligned with the therapeutic world. We use therapeutic approaches, and we're even trained to do up cognitive behavioral therapy. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's very close. I've done units within the therapy world. Yeah. So cults can, okay, so I've already spoken about that. All right, so Alexandra Stein's book, Terror, Love and Brainwashing, Attachments in cults and totalitarian systems explores how cults exploit attachment relationships to exert oh my gosh, is it not plugged in? Through the preaching, through the like talking people's business from the pulpit, but they can also do up manipulation. So start to say to you, oh, some of you haven't had your father, but I can be your spiritual father, because he knows he's got about 10 young girls in there who don't have their dad. Do you understand? You know, like that bit that they do when they're coming to an end of the preaching and stuff like that. So that's how they assert control, man. It's so manipulative. I'm so angry, like looking back. She argues that cult leaders manipulate followers by creating a dynamic of terror and love, using social structures and ideologies to isolate members and make them dependent on the group. Absolutely right. So we're just going to look at the key concepts, because I think that this content for me is so important. And if you do come across it, I really, really hope it helps. Let me know in the comment section how it's helped. Has it helped you to unpack and deprogram from that trauma? Let me know. I'd love to know. So attachment theory explains how early childhood relationship shapes our capacity. So this is an overview now, guys. Yeah, I'm just going to kind of paraphrase what we've discussed, looking at the key concepts, and then I'm going to start to unwind. So if you've got any questions, anything you'd like to ask me, please get your questions ready. Or you might not, and that's also fine, because you might let me know if you want me to leave like a 60-second bubble of just holding the space in silence for you to process, because this has been quite a lot. So let me know in the comments where y'all at. So attachment theory explains how early childhood relationship shapes our capacity for emotional connection and security in later relationships. So it helps us to understand what made us susceptible in the first place, how we were vulnerable, but it also helps us through our recovery, because there's like a twofold dimension to this, where we would have had come in with our prior attachment, and then we're going to have to deal with the attachment style, which is most likely going to be disorganized or avoidant, because these mogs and wogs are malignant narcissists. So it's like having a malignant narcissist as a father. Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of ABUSE. Just with that beginning part, that will help people. If you're asking me, Leah, how do I deprogram? Where do I begin to deconstruct, deprogram? That's where you begin. That's where you start. Yeah, that's what I would say. I'm not telling you what to do, but I think it's easier to unpack and flow through, and also journal, write down the themes, record it, do whatever feels right for you. So you're keeping like a diary. And the thing is, even when you go to therapy, whenever that happens, because there is a waiting list, whatever, you have that journal, you can speak through things. You don't always remember things, and look back and reflect on it and work through those processes with your therapist. Yeah. Disorganized attachment, a pattern of attachment characterized by confusion and fear, often emerging in response to trauma or abuse. Yeah. So this is the main type of attachment style that you will develop when in the cult. All right. So it just disorganizes your thoughts, and it distorts your reality. People are in spiritual psychosis. People are like pushing their mind, their body to the absolute limit. There's so many layers of this, and this is why this leads to like illnesses, cancers, chronic diseases, etc. Because people come in with the pre-trauma, and then it's like it's the love bombing, and then you start to get all confused, and you go into that cognitive dissonance state, and then they maintain full control. By the time you come out, you've got to unpack all the trauma, and some people aren't able to do it. That's why they church cult hop. They want to stay asleep, guys. They can't manage it. It takes a really strong person to really deconstruct and deprogram. It's not for the weak. I can't, like, that's why I don't judge them. That's why I'm saying I'm not going in there do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not Jesus Christ. I'm no one savior. I don't, do you know what I mean? There's some people, that's what they've got to do for themselves, and I have to respect their decision that they want to stay sleeping and be a slave to, these institutions, because they don't want to take control of their own lives. As Soft Life said, they're giving the remote control for someone else to control their lives. And if that's their choice, that's their choice. I'm not losing any sleep over it, because when I was in the cult, that's how trauma gets stored in your body. Why is it my problem? If survivor A, B, C, and D goes back to the cult, why is that my problem? I'm not losing no sleep over it. No way. I'm not internalizing it, because I made a promise to myself that when I was doing this, I would enjoy it. It would be about me. I wouldn't let it, because if it starts affecting me like that, I can't do what I do. So I can't care like that. Do you know, that's where the dark empath comes in. Do you understand? And that's why I'm saying that you do need that yin and yang. You do need that light and dark. In there, everything's light. But they'll you in your back. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you can't even separate who's been fake from who's been real. They don't know who their real people are right now. and who their fake people are, because people are just getting up and leaving that they never thought would have left in the cult, and that's what they can't handle. That's what they can't manage. That's what they can't control. They've been used to, brushing stuff under the carpet, and they can't do that now. It's not possible to do that. It's gone too far. There's too many people speaking out. And then we've got the trauma bond, a strong emotional connection formed in abusive or coercive relationships, making it difficult to leave. So the trauma bond is what they'll be doing up the most. They do this up through heavy shepherding, rebuking. So if you hear a church cult speaking about rebuking, fire, I got peppered and all of that, just run a million miles, because that's how they get you to trauma bond. It's through that ABUSE, that push and pull, and then they'll be telling you, oh, I love you. It's like a man who's just physically, and then he's coming to the woman, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. It's spiritual, VIOLENCE. It's like they're spiritually putting their hands on you. Don't you understand? They breathe out violence, share. Coercive persuasion. This is the last one. Techniques used by cults to manipulate and control followers. In essence, understanding attachment theory can provide valuable insights into the psychological dynamics of cults and how they maintain control over their members. So to end this segment on what's attachment got to do with church cults, everything. In order for us to navigate through our recovery process, post-cult exit will involve going back to the childhood trauma, unpacking what type of attachment you had, looking at the developmental stages, because if you were delayed in your developmental stage, or you might have you might have neurodivergent diagnosis, or a disability, whatever it is, you'll have to work your way through that to understand how they converted that into bringing you back to that baby age, because we should all be at the stage. Let me go back to it. I can't even remember. We should all be at the, is it the pre-operational? Sorry, guys, I just got to get back. Formal. We should all be at the formal operational stage when we can hypothetically think, problem solve, etc. But they take us back to the sensorimeter, guys. This ain't a joke. Sensorimeter stage, which is like a baby. So just beginning to develop understanding for objects and just basic language. Yeah. So it's like we don't have our own brain. We have to be like a robot. We have to be like a baby, like a child. And that's why we're saying, like, when Bishop Richard Ayu, when dad comes, he'll be acting like a child, like he's almost panting. It's mad. Like when you used to see it, he'd become like a 5-year-old child. And this is why. They don't really grow up. That's why you get these pastors praying on these young girls, because mentally they're of the mind, the mentality of a young baby, a child. And on that note, I'm gonna go. TikTok gonna go first or whatever. I'll be back later, guys. What time is it? Yeah, I'll be back. Like, I'm gonna go and fix something to eat, chill a bit, and then I'll be back. I love you guys. I'm probably gonna put out some content on RPF. We'll see. Love y'all. I'll be back soon or whatever. Instagram, thank you so much. Oh gosh, thank you so much for being on, and just being around, just effing with your girl. I appreciate it. So Instagram, I'm gonna go ahead and say bye, and YouTube, I'm gonna go ahead and say bye. Thank you so much for listening and being around, even if you are a troll. Have you learned something new today? Have you learned something new? I hope so. Because in there, it's just human fecal matter. As I said, there's no practical measures on how to actually do what we need to do it. So I'm here to just highlight and demystify and unmask the lies and deception and occult practices of Dag Heward Mills, allegedly. All right, then, I'm off. Love ya. I'll be back later.